Hey, this is Pete Stew, man. I know this Dojo update's coming at you a day late, but boy did we get a huge Dojo update yesterday. The entire site has totally changed, it has different sections. It's really starting to look like the Dojo we had back in Brawl. And that makes sense since the game is starting to come up soon. So we have different sections now with characters and how to play. Let's check out our characters because we got a lot of character announcements yesterday. First off, we have the Mii Fighters, which, of course, I'm sure most people saw yesterday. Mii Fighters come in three varieties: the Brawlers, the Swordsmen, and the Gunners. And they're very customizable to a large extent. There's more detail later on the website, but basically, you get to freely choose to an extent what your Mii Fighter looks like, and then you choose one of these three fighting styles, and each of their 4 special move slots actually has 3 different special moves to which to pick from to create your Mii Fighter. In my opinion, it's a really cool concept on how to implement the Mii Fighters. A lot of people were worried that Miis, if they were implemented into Super Smash Bros., would be similar-ish to the Villager, where it was just a plethora of different things coming from different sections, and we already had something like that. But the Mii Fighters, instead, take on a role that I think is very akin to the role of Miis in Nintendo games, which is to bring a different role to each game. And in this case, you get to choose their role as a fighter, and then they stick to that role. I also like the extent to which they are customizable. It's, and once again, I think, something similar or akin to what the Miis actually do. They are customizable avatars with limitations, and these guys have customizable movesets with some limitations. Our next newcomer is Palutena, and boy did she show off a lot of abilities in the Direct. She looks like she'll be a really fun character. A lot of people were requesting her, expecting her, and her moveset turned out in a way that a lot of people were really hoping for, so it's nice to see. We also see Phosphora in some of these screenshots, so that makes me wonder about Phosphora's role. Is she an assist trophy, or what? But even more than that, the trailer, which I absolutely love the anime style of the trailer, but at the end of the trailer, of course, we get a little teaser from Dark Pit. What is Dark Pit's role in this game? I'm interested to find that out as well. And now then, we get the main reason I did not release this video yesterday, Pac-Man. After the reveal of Wii Fit Trainer at the end of all the events last year, I was almost certain there was going to be another surprise third reveal at the end of the day. And certainly there was, Pac-Man. Now, anyone who's watched my main set of videos knows that I've never been the hugest fan of Pac-Man, but I'd be lying if I hadn't said I've always thought about how he would be in Super Smash Bros., and it's nice to see him as a historic video game icon and kind of a link to Namco working on the game. Appearance-wise and moveset-wise, he's very interesting. He takes the appearance of the Pac-World stuff as opposed to the newer Pac-Man look, which I am indifferent about, and he does use a lot of moves and animations that are inspired by the Pac-World games. However, the most defining feature of his moveset is using a whole lot of Namco 8-bit references. Not even necessarily Pac-Man references, but all sorts of different Namco items, objects, and references. It's very interesting, and I actually like the implementation of it very much. Especially what appears to be his final smash, in which he turns into a giant 8-bit-ish Pac-Man that eats everybody. Now then, even more than Dark Pit at the end of Palutena's trailer, we got Mr. Game & Watch in the end of Pac-Man's trailer. I'm waiting for that official confirmation for the character. Now then, besides the character updates, we also have other updates on the Dojo, such as game modes and specific sections for the 3DS and Wii U versions. In the new How to Play section, we have the typical What is Smash Brothers, which we won't take a look at right now because we all know it, hopefully. But we also have some details on character customization. As it turns out, the Miis aren't the only ones with 3 variations to each of their attacks. Every character does, although Miis and Palutena are special in this regard and have very different attacks when it comes to customizing the movesets that you give them. Characters also have equipable items that will change their stats, another function of the character customization. But of course, you cannot use your customized characters in Glory Battles online. However, a part of this whole deal means that you cannot use the Miis at all in Glory Battles online, which is actually something I'm not super cool with. I understand the concept of not wanting something that's so customizable to be part of competitive play, but it takes the Mii fighter completely out of the mix, which makes me question the point of the character if it can't be inclusive of every part of the game. Like, if they had a generic Mii Brawler, Mii Swordsman, and Mii Gunner that could be used for competitive play, I would be more in favor of the decision. If for the purpose of the competitive play, all you customized was the look of the Mii and not the move set, for competitive play purposes only. The 3DS specific page for the game officially announces the release date of Super Smash Bros. 3DS as October 3rd, which is later than the original date they kinda gave to us, but that's how it is. I myself am totally okay with them pushing the date back a bit if it means getting a higher quality game. The other thing that they show off on the 3DS site is some specific details of Smash Run and online play. Now, everything in these two pages is stuff that we've already heard before from Sakurai himself in Nintendo Directs, so I won't go over it word by word. Smash Run reminds me so much of City Trial Mode from Kirby Air Ride, which Sakurai himself mentioned. You travel through a vast map and collect power-ups with a 5-minute time limit. There's random special events that may happen, and then at the end of it all, you take part in some sort of competition, whether it's a Smash or other kind of game, to see who wins. What I really like about Smash Run is the vast library of enemies you can face, subspace emissary villains, and lots of enemies throughout Nintendo games. The online stuff's a lot of information we've already heard before, so I'm not going to go over it. What I am going to say is, we saw a lot of stuff yesterday, and we still might see a lot more this week. Today is Nintendo's Best Buy event. I know I'm going. Are you going? For now, that's it for this massive Dojo update. Tune in next time for more.